New Berlin. We are live here at the Wisconsin State Fair in the South Exhibit Hall. And today we've got a great show for you. It's Natural Resources Day and Park and Recreation Day. And on this show here we will be having Joe Pipp, who is one of the cream puff makers here at the State Fair. He brought us a delicious treat, and he's going to be talking to us a little bit about the cream puffs here at the fair. We also have Miss Jane Adams. She is with the battle between the states. There's a battle going on, believe it or not, between Illinois and Wisconsin, and she's going to give us a little insight on what that's about. Before we go to our first segment, I'd like to let you know a little bit about what's going on at the fair tonight. Frank Zappa is going to be on the main stage at 7 p.m., and of course the dazzling fireworks display will follow. A few other events. Because this is Natural Resources Day, the DNR's got a whole day lined up of shows in their little theater in the woods. At 2 o'clock, Wisconsin's Endangered Resources will be shown. At 3, Wisconsin State Parks. And at 4 o'clock, Wisconsin's Ice Age Trail. Also, in the Coliseum, we have judging going on. At 2 o'clock, the Cimental and Limousine judging. And at 3 o'clock, the Percheron horses and the halter contest. So that will all be going on later. Right now, we're going to take a look at a segment. You know, it's not often we get a chance to shoot one of the main stage acts. But last night, the Oak Ridge Boys gave us permission to come right up front, right in front of the stage there, and shoot a little bit of their act. So if you like country music, this one's for you. Okay, welcome back. We are live here at the State Fair. That was the Oak Ridge Boys. How do you like those for front row seats, huh? They were one of the very few bands who have given us permission. They gave us permission to shoot about a minute and a half over all of their whole act. We'd like to thank them, and hopefully we'll be doing a couple more segments out at the grandstand. Right now, though, we are honored to have Mr. Joe Pipp. Welcome, Joe. He is of the cream puff making area here at the fair.
That is correct.
How long have you been involved in this?
11 years.
11 years. And how long has the cream puff exhibit?
A little bit over 50 years.
Oh.
It grew. The idea was there to publicize products of Wisconsin like eggs, milk, etc., cream, and so forth and so on, and publicize the baking products that were made with these particular products.
Now, I imagine you are a baker. How did you get involved in that type of thing?
Well, I was a baker, more or less not by choice. My folks had a bakery, and I grew up in it, and all of a sudden, before you knew it, I was a baker also.
Now, as I'm sure you can see, everybody's mouths are dropping now that we've brought the cream puffs out on the set. Can you tell us a little bit about what goes into some of the ingredients?
Oh, certainly. We use primarily flour, shortening, eggs, milk, and then, of course, we have to have salt in there and ammonia. Those are the basic items. In a batch, we use 18 pounds of flour, 12 pounds of shortening, 30 pounds of whole eggs, 2 pounds of egg whites, and then a quart and a half of milk.
Now, what's your idea on why it has been such a popular item at the fair?
It's a little difficult to explain. It's something that grew up over the years, and certainly one of the basic reasons is because it's a very tasty item. And when we make it here, it's refrigerated, and it's sold within, a half an hour after it's made. And I think that's a big part of the secret.
Now, about how long does it take to make one batch of cream puffs?
Oh, it will take at least 20 minutes of mixing, 35 minutes of baking, and then the slicing. The overall thing before one comes out completed on the production basis that we had would be an hour and a half to 2 hours. But then after it's one started, well, then they come out every few minutes.
Okay, in a moment we're going to be going to a tape. Earlier this morning, we visited the cream puff making place, and we're going to take a look at that tape in just a moment. Before we get to that, about how many are sold a day? How many?
Roughly between 17 and 25,000.
Oh, whew. And all these people come from all over to have these?
They do. Yeah, that's right. They come all throughout the state of Wisconsin. People come in, and we have people coming from the surrounding states. Not, of course, just for the cream puffs. They like the fair. They want to come and see what the fair is all about. But at the same time, cream puffs are in the back of their mind. Here, a year or two ago, we had a fellow from California that came in, a reporter, and he heard about him, and he wanted to write a story about it. And we had him right up in the UPI?
Yeah.
UPI information thing. So we have national publicity on it.
Okay, could we go to that tape right now, if you can roll the tape?
All right.
And now, you want to explain the process here?
Let's see, where are we at now?
I believe this was in the mixing room. This was the...
Oh, certainly. Yeah, the mixing has been completed, and what you see there is a depositor, and it deposits 4 and 4 and 4 times 6 on a pan, and after they have the 24 deposited on the pan, they put them in a rack. There you see a rack full of puffs.
Now, how long do they have to sit like that on the rack?
Well, there they can go into the oven immediately. There are some of our key people that are working on it, and they're just getting it ready for the oven. That's Arnie Kanenberg. He seems to be enjoying what he's doing. Now, apparently, they must have got it into the oven area, pulled it into the oven area, and then ran it into the oven. We have a 25-pan oven there, and right next to the 25-pan oven, we have a 12-pan electric oven.
About how hot is that oven at this
450 degrees, and they bake approximately 35 minutes. And of course, after they're baked, they have to be cooled. They're pushed in, not a cooling room, but a cooling area, and from that point, the girls take them and slice them, as you see they're doing now. We have 4 girls slicing, 1 feeding and 1 catching them, and they put them on the pans and put them in racks. And after they're in racks there, they're sliced, pushed back into the cream room, and there they're filled with cream. And after that, they're pushed out into the store area. This is the cream room we were talking about.
Now, this is an electric creamer?
Exactly. It is a German piece of equipment. We have the cream in a holder that holds about a gallon of cream. And the cream does not have to be whipped as ordinarily years ago. There's an arrangement with where it's agitated within an 8-inch area with discs in it. So it comes in from liquid cream to cream within seconds.
Now, as we saw from the video, people are outside. You can watch this actually taking place.
Exactly. There's windows there that people can be watching that while they're filling the puffs, putting powdered sugar on, and so forth.
Let's get all those cream puffs.
Really. This is still the cream room. They're mixing sugar in there now because we do have a certain amount of sugar and vanilla and so forth in the cream. So we're back there again. And when he has it thoroughly mixed and dissolved, which it looks like he's ready to do that now, he'll pour it into the container of the cream machine. Right there he goes, pouring it into the container. And the girl right next to him is just filling the puffs. And they just keep filling them while he keeps getting the cream ready, dissolving the sugar in it so that they can be prepared to fill. Now apparently we're back in the store area, and here we have the sales girls that are selling them about as fast as they can.
Yeah.
We've got between... Go ahead, sorry.
Go quick.
Okay. We have between 9 and 10 girls there handling customers as fast as they can.
And here we are with the final product. We were given a chance to sample a few cream puffs, the producer on the right and myself there on the left. They are delicious. About how many...
Well, thank you.
How many people are needed all around?
We have a crew of 55 people. So really what I like to say now, I mean, I get a lot of credit and I get on the TV telling about it, but it's these 55 people that are really the heroes and heroines doing a terrific job that they do.
Okay, now how can, once these cream puffs are made, how long do they stay fresh?
Well, they're usually sold within 30 to 35 minutes after they're completed, okay? But we can keep them in refrigeration for an hour or longer. In fact, some people buy them, take them home, and freeze them. but it's not advisable unless you're going home right away, because if they begin to get soft, you're going to lose some of the effect of the taste of the cream puff. But we do have some people that take them home, freeze them, take them out in the summertime, and they can enjoy that State Fair cream puff during the summertime.
Now, if there are any left over at the end of the day, what's done with them?
Well, the refrigeration is very, very good. The next morning, we'll sell them 2 for 80 cents. They're 80 cents
I'll have
a
to
piece.
get here early.
That's right, 2 for 80. But they're not the same as the ones that you get that are just a half an hour old. But they still are very, very good. In fact, if I'd be here in the morning myself, I'd buy one of those where you get 2 for 80 cents.
Now, everybody's been telling me there is a proper way to eat a cream puff. Would you like to demonstrate this for us?
Well, as far as there being a proper way to eat a cream puff, I guess it's up to the individual taste. Whichever works out best for you, that's the way to do it, and the way it tastes best to you. I think children sometimes are the most practical people to develop a way to eat a cream puff. They'll just bite into it and eat it, whether the cream squishes out or not. But some of the more the expert people, they'll just press on here, turn around, get a certain amount of cream on each side, and then eat it like this, and there's less of a mess involved. And you don't even mind the mess, the mess, because it's finger-licking good, whatever you get on your fingers. Would you have time to try just a little bit?
Oh, just a little bit. We have plenty here for the crew after the show, so don't worry, everyone.
You might share it the same way. You know, divide them like that, Bob.
Thank you very much, Joe, for taking your time out and coming on. It's a fascinating process.
I appreciate this opportunity, and thanks for giving us the publicity.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And right now, let's hear it for Joe, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we're going to go into a segment we did at the agricultural building. They have a group of bees, believe me, a lot of them, in a glass case, and we talked with the beekeeper there, just in general, about the bees. We are here at the Agricultural Products Building. I'm Bob Cole. We're talking with Dick Pernuski of Muskego. Dick, what are the different types of bees you have contained here?
Well, presently in our observation hive, we have 2 varieties, or 2 types of bees. We have the drone bee, which is a male bee. That's a larger bee that you see in here. And there's about a couple hundred of the drone bees in here. The rest of the bees are worker bees. We should have a queen bee, but we don't have a queen bee because when the hive was sent from Ashepin, Wisconsin to here, the queen was somehow killed. The bees in the hive began building queen cells, of which there's at least 5 to 7 in here at this time, so that they can generate a new queen to take over for the queen that has died. Would this hive not have a queen, they would die within about a month or so. The new bees coming in every day through the hatching process are necessary to keep the hive going. So with the queen laying about 500 or 600 eggs a day, it wouldn't take too long for the attrition to slowly overtake the hive, and we'd find ourselves without a beehive.
Which types of bees are the ones that actually make the honey?
The actual bees that really work the hive is the worker bee, which makes up about 95% of the bees in the hive. And the worker bee actually is a female bee that has undeveloped reproductive organs. It's the queen that has the only fully developed reproductive organs, and she's the only one that can lay eggs. So it is necessary that they have a queen in the hive in order to continue on the operation of the hive.
I was wondering if you could possibly explain the process briefly of how the honey comes from the comb and then comes into the jars that are sold in supermarkets.
Well, first of all, the bees go out to various flowers and collect nectar from the flowers. It's a sweet substance that we may all have tasted when we picked a piece of clover apart and sucked the nectar out. They bring the nectar into the hive and put it in the various cells. The moisture content is reduced to about 17 to 18%, and then they cap that cell up, indicating that the honey is ripe and ready to be taken off. The beekeeper takes the honey off and generally removes the cappings from the comb and then spins it in a centrifuge to extract the liquid honey from the comb. The comb then is put back in the hive and the bees can refill it again.
Now, do different types of flowers produce different types of honey?
Yes, they do. We have about 11 different varieties here at the fair that are produced in Wisconsin, and we range all the way from a very dark black honey, which is a buckwheat honey, to the very light honeys, such as basswood and dandelion and clover and alfalfa.
Is there any speculation, you've heard it around, that the killer bees are coming to Wisconsin? Is that true at all?
The last report that I have had from various beekeeping experts around the world is that they have proceeded north at a very steady rate, and they expect them to enter the southern United States at some time in the near future. What time, we don't know as of yet. At the present time, the African bee needs about 240 days of frost-free weather in order to survive. We can't provide that here in Wisconsin, so it's doubtful that they would make it this far north.
And one final question, I'm sure you're asked this quite a bit, about how many bees are in this glass cage?
Well, this is an observation hive, which is only about 1/10 of a normal hive, and we speculate there's about 10,000 bees in this hive.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back here live in the South Exhibit Hall, and we'd like to thank all the beekeepers, and the beekeeper's wife happens to be out here in the audience as well. We'd like to thank them very much for that segment. Right now, though, we have Miss Jane Adams. She is the Executive Director of the Wisconsin Park and Rec Association. Welcome.
Thank you.
And what actually is your job?
My job. Wisconsin Parks and Recreation Association, or WPRA, is an organization for professionals who are working in parks and recreation throughout the whole state of Wisconsin. So our members can either work for a school district, a village, or the county, a county, or a state DNR. We have some of those people are employees.
And that's like in the city when we have the park and rec programs in the summer, you're involved in that?
Right. Our members are the people that run those programs.
How did you get involved in this line of work?
I've been in Parks and Recreation for about 12 or 13 years and started out working for a city and was very active in the state association back in my home state of Missouri. Then I moved up to Wisconsin and started doing this kind of work full-time.
Now, you mentioned that you're the executive director here in Wisconsin. Is this the type of thing going on in other states?
Oh, yes. There's quite a few. In fact, about 20 states have full-time executive directors, and just about every state has a Parks and Recreation Association.
Do they serve other purposes? I mean, exactly what do they do? Do they oversee the...
Okay, what we do is we provide training and education opportunities to make Parks and Recreation professionals better at their jobs. And we do that in a variety of ways. We have an annual conference, we have publications, we have a magazine, a newsletter, plus then we run a management bookstore, and we also have public awareness programs such as what we're doing here today.
Okay, now, if we want to roll that segment right now, what you might see in front of you is not the serious stuff we've just been talking about. Why don't you explain a little bit about what's going on here today?
Okay, today is Parks Recreation Day at Wisconsin State Fair. And we're having a joint project with the Illinois Parks and Recreation Association, who brought up over 45 busloads of people from the different park districts in the Chicago area. So this is the first time that we're doing a joint program with IPRA. And what we're doing is this afternoon we're having a bunch of activities and games for children and adults down at the party tent.
Okay, why don't we start rolling that segment right now? And if you'd like to explain a little bit as we go.
We had teams. When the whistle blew, one member milked and the other person held the glove, and then when the whistle blew again, we switched, and the team that had the most water in their jug at the end was the winner. As you can see, people really got into their work here today, and they had a good time. What we did was we have this part you're seeing here is a competition between members of WPRA and members of IPRA, where we had what we call the Professional Challenge Cup. And so these are members of Wisconsin are dressed in the red shirts and the blue shorts, and the Illinois people they're dressed in their park district t-shirts. Right, this is our first year, and if we get good turnout, we'll certainly continue to go. this activity here was called Plow the Field, where we took an adding machine tape and we got the dullest pair of scissors we could find, and the person had to cut between, right up the middle of the adding machine tape, and the team that went the furthest without ripping the tape was the victor. Yes, very exciting. A lot of skill, a lot of expertise was needed here, and everybody seemed to enjoy themselves. There were a variety of tactics were used. Some people pulled the tape and had the scissor move along with the tape, and they were trying all kinds of strategies to see what would work the best.
Stop breaking now.
Yes, we gave them the Della scissors. Wisconsin won the udder contest. Must be all our dairy cows, and Illinois won this one. Okay, this was our flatjack relay. Okay. We started out with three pancakes on the spatula, and then as the teams moved back and forth, we added 2 pancakes each time. If you dropped your pancake, you had to start where you were, pick them up, load them back on again, and get them going. Wisconsin was leading there for a while, but unfortunately, when the stack got as high as it got, yeah, there you go. Poor Linda, she tried, and she was very upset, but Illinois got quite a good strategy down where when they would add their pancakes to the spatula, they would really give them a good squish and get them all cut in together there. And here's, I think this is the winning guy right here. So Illinois won the flapjack relay, so then it was down to 2-1.
Who did make all these pancakes?
Myself, I made them along with my secretary, who made them yesterday afternoon. They're definitely not edible. Definitely not edible.
You mentioned that these would be recyclable, or one of your
Yes.
staff people did.
Yeah, we have to use these again this afternoon because starting at 1 o'clock this afternoon, we have these activities. There she goes. We have these activities open for the general public, so we are recycling them. Okay, here we are. Okay, this is called the Ice House Meltdown, and this one, we divided into, we had 12 people to a circle, and the idea was to melt your piece of ice as fast as you could. And then when you melted the first piece, you ran back and got the second piece, and I think all in all, we had 5 pieces of ice that we were responsible.
Allis and Dairyland.
Yep. Allis and Dairyland was there. We also had Violet, and I believe Willie B. Bacon was with us for a little while this morning, too. So, again, we used all kinds of strategies. We tried rubbing our hands together and putting them under our armpits and everything just to try to get our hands as warm as we possibly could. Wisconsin ended up being being the winner there.
Now, were you involved? Oh, wait, here we have
Oh, here we go. Okay, this is called Water Boy, where we just had to move a ladle of water back and forth, taking out of one bucket and putting into the other. Everybody on the team had to touch the ladle, both coming and going, and then the team that had the most water in the other bucket was the victor there.
Now, were you directly involved on a team in this? Or
Yeah, this one I was on this one. I was given the illustrious title of captain of the Wisconsin team, so we had to really hustle. There I am right there at the end.
Now, who did you say won? Oh,
Okay, Illinois won the Water Boy.
this contest we won't even mention because I was out here shooting and I almost got nailed by one of the cow chips.
Okay, this is a cow chip throwing contest, and these are cow chips from Muskego, Wisconsin.
Here it is.
And this is our Wisconsin representative. This is Mike Herman from the Hartford Recreation Department, one of our members.
I'm out to get this guy, so I'll watch you all the camera take a dive.
He came right for you, huh? Well,
This one came pretty close.
Yeah.
So I've officially resigned at taping the cow chips.
Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. Wisconsin ended up winning the cow chip throwing contest. So when we went into the last event, it was tied, 3-3.
We're back here on the set now. We didn't get a chance to tape the Liars part of this. Do you want to explain a little bit about what this is?
What we did there was we asked the Illinois contingency and the Wisconsin contingency to come up with one representative, and we had a group vote there, and they all went out and sat outside the area and got some good vibrations and came up with a couple good lies about Illinois, and the Wisconsin representative told their lies. Illinois was a little slow in responding to the Liars contest, so I think maybe if we did it again next year, if they're not ready, we won't let them go. So that ended up being a tie.
Now, how many more events are planned for these two teams for the rest of the day?
Okay, right now we finished the Challenge Cup competition, and right now we're into a challenge between the states, and that's going on right now down at the party tent, which is just inside the infield area. You can get there by walking down that passageway, and then the party tent will be right on your right. It's yellow and white striped, and it's normally reserved for private parties, but today it is certainly open for the general public. We have two different ages going on. We have activities for 7 to 13-year-olds, and then we have another set of activities, or another group going for 14 and over.
Now the trophy, there was a very large trophy there. This will be awarded to one of the two teams we saw in the tape, right?
Right. No, the trophy is going to go to the composite total at the end of the day.
Oh.
So that's where we really need the Wisconsin residents to come down and help us so we can have the traveling trophy stay with us here in Wisconsin.
Right. Is this open to the public now, you mentioned?
Yes, it is. It's open to the public. It's free. We have visors, which are paper visors, and they say Wisconsin State Fair, Parks and Recreation Day. And we have a visor for everyone that just comes down and participates, and then we do have some other prizes. We have some mugs, and we have some t-shirts, and some other hats that we're giving out to the winners of the other contests.
How long will it be going on? Till what time tonight?
Okay, we'll be going on till 4 o'clock this afternoon. At 3 o'clock or 2:30, we have the Ice House Meltdown going on. 3 o'clock, we have Waterboy. 3:30, we have the infamous cow chip throwing contest. And then at 4 o'clock, we'll end the day with the Liars contest.
Do you look for this to continue on next year?
I hope so. I really do. We've gotten a really good response from the people, and the media has been kind enough to us, and they've certainly given us a lot of coverage, and we appreciate that.
Okay, well, thank you very much for stopping out. It sounds like an interesting day. That's, once again, in the main grandstand area. You can go under the little tunnel there, under the racetrack, and you can catch these events. Believe me, there's something else to watch in person. A few more events, if you're planning on coming out to the fair. In Central Park at 4 o'clock, we will have the Six Flags Great America Barbershop Quartet that's in the Central Park area. In the Family Living Center at 3 o'clock, something special from Wisconsin, Alice and Dairyland will be there. And at 5 o'clock, Cooking with Merck's Cheese, of course. And at 6, a Powers Makeover Makes It Happen, John Robert Powers School. That will be taking place. And as long as we have time, from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., this is one of my favorites, the Consumer Product Taste Test will be taking place in the Agricultural Products Building. Something you ought to go. You get some free samples, and you get to tell them what you think is better. So if you get a chance, stop on by. We're in the South Exhibit Hall here at State Fair Park. We'll see you again at 6:30. So long.